Welcome to a new deep dive. Today, we're tackling something really important for a lot of people: how to get better, more confident at actually speaking English.
Yes, fluency. It's that flow, that confidence in conversation that so many learners are chasing.
And we've got a great source for this. It's a set of really practical, hands on tips focused specifically on building that spoken fluency.
Exactly. We're not just talking theory here. These are things designed to move you from, understanding English passively to actively using it.
Right. So, our mission today is to unpack these tips, figure out why they work, and pull out the best takeaways for you. The goal: actionable steps so you feel more confident speaking English.
Let's get into it.
Okay, first up, and this is probably the core message everywhere: you actually have to speak. Fluency comes from speaking.
It sounds obvious, but it's crucial. You can't just read or listen your way to fluency. You need to produce the language yourself.
And the source makes a great point. It doesn't have to be hours a day.
No, not at all. Even just 10 minutes of focused speaking practice daily can apparently make a huge difference.
But how do you do that if you're alone?
Well, the tips here are good for that. Things like talking to yourself.
Feels a bit strange at first, maybe.
It can, but describing your room, narrating what you're doing, it just gets your brain and mouth working in English, like a warm-up.
And if you can find people.
Definitely do it. Language exchange partners, apps, finding friends who are also learning. Any interaction helps.
There was that anecdote in the source, wasn't there? About the shy student.
Oh yeah, that was powerful. She started recording daily voice notes just for herself, describing her plans.
Nobody else heard them.
Nope. But just doing that consistently built her confidence massively over a few weeks.
Yeah.
It really shows that daily output, even solo, is key.
So daily practice is the engine. What about the fuel? The next tip is about how you think. Thinking in English.
Ah, yes. This is the big hurdle. Many learners translate in their head. Hear English, translate, think, response, translate back, speak.
It's exhausting just describing it. And it makes you slow.
Exactly. And the translations often lead to slightly unnatural phrasing. The goal is to cut out that middle step.
Direct connection. English word to idea or object.
Precisely. Train your brain for that direct link.
How do you even start doing that, though?
The resource had some neat ideas. One simple one. Label stuff in your house. Sticky note saying fridge, mirror, light switch.
So you see the object, see the English word, constantly reinforcing it.
Yeah. And another one is developing an internal English monologue. Ask yourself little questions during the day.
Like what?
What am I going to do next? Or how do I feel right now? Just getting your brain used to processing thoughts in English, not just about English.
Okay, so speak daily. Try to think directly in English. But what stops people? Fear, right?
Oh.
Fear of mistakes.
Absolutely. Which leads to the next crucial tip. Don't. Fear. Mistakes.
Easier said than done sometimes.
True, but it's such a vital mindset shift. Mistakes are not failures. They are like evidence of effort. They show you're pushing your boundaries.
If you're not making mistakes, you're probably stuck in your comfort zone.
Exactly. And think about it. When someone's trying to speak your native language,
Mhm.
errors and all, you mostly just appreciate the effort, don't you?
Yeah, totally. You focus on the communication.
Native English speakers are generally the same. They care more that you're trying than about perfect grammar.
The goal is communication, fluency, not perfection.
Right. So embrace the stumbles. Keep talking. Learn from them.
Okay, speaking of fluency, how do you get that natural sound, the rhythm? That brings us to listening.
Yes. Tip 4. Listen, listen, listen. Good speaking is built on a foundation of good listening.
It makes sense. You absorb the patterns, the intonation, how words connect.
Without having to consciously analyze grammar rules all the time, you just sort of absorb it.
So what kind of listening?
The resource recommends lots of authentic stuff. English movies, YouTube, podcasts, like this one.
Start with subtitles if you need to, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. But the goal should be to gradually turn them off, to really train your ear.
Music, too.
Music is fantastic. Listen, get the lyrics, sing along. It helps massively with rhythm and pronunciation, the stress patterns of English.
And the source mentioned that Friends example.
Right. The student who watched Friends every day with English subtitles and saw huge improvements.
Sitcoms are great for that, aren't they? Everyday conversational language.
Exactly. Much more accessible sometimes than, say, complex news reports.
All right, so speak daily, think in English, embrace mistakes, listen loads. What about the actual words you use? Vocabulary.
Tip 5. Expand your vocabulary, but do it smartly.
Meaning, not just memorizing long lists.
Exactly. That's often not very effective. You might know a word's definition, but not how to actually use it in a sentence naturally.
So the better way is?
Learn words in context.
Right.
Don't just learn perspective. Learn from my perspective, or let me give you a different perspective. See how it functions.
Okay. How do you make that practical?
Well, use flashcard apps like Anki or Quizlet, sure, but make sure your flashcards have example sentences, not just the word in translation.
And then you...
Critically important. Actively try to use the new words and phrases in your speaking practice. That's what makes them stick.
The source also had that word of the day idea.
Yeah, I like that. Pick one new word or phrase each day and challenge yourself to use it, say, 5 times in different contexts throughout the day. Really forces engagement.
That leads nicely into the next tip, which is all about integration. Use English in your daily life.
This is about creating immersion, even if you're not living abroad. It's described as basically the fastest route to fluency.
Because you're just surrounded by it, interacting with it constantly.
Right. And it doesn't have to be massive changes. Simple things work.
Like changing your phone language.
Exactly. Phone, apps, computer settings to English. Write your shopping list in English. Your to-do list.
Read the news headlines in English instead of your native language.
Even small, almost silly things like talking to your pet in English.
They won't judge.
They won't. Or narrating what you're doing while cooking. Okay, now I'm chopping the onions. It just keeps English active in your mind.
Okay, here's one that I think people often skip because it feels awkward. Record yourself.
Ah, yes. Tip 7. Underrated, but so powerful. It can feel cringy at first, listening back to yourself.
But why is it so useful?
Because you notice things you completely miss while you're focused on just speaking. Like filler words you overuse. Or pronunciation issues you didn't know you had.
It gives you that objective feedback.
Totally. But it's not just about finding flaws. It's also amazing for tracking progress. Listen to a recording from a month ago.
And you realize how much better you've gotten. That must be a huge confidence boost.
Massive. And the source mentioned a specific technique related to this. Shadowing.
Explain that again.
You play a short audio clip of a native speaker, then immediately try to repeat it, copying their speed, their rhythm, their intonation as closely as possible. You record yourself doing it.
Like being their echo.
Kind of. And the resource really highlights shadowing as super effective for improving that natural flow and pronunciation.
Speaking of sounding natural, tip number 8 is about learning common phrases and idioms, going beyond just textbook words.
Yes. Native speakers use tons of phrases. What's up? Hang in there, all ears, and idioms, piece of cake, break a leg.
Things that don't always make literal sense, but are just how people talk.
Exactly. Learning these makes you sound more fluent and natural, and crucially, it helps you understand native speakers better when they use them.
Do you need to learn thousands?
Oh, definitely not all at once. The advice is just to pick up a few each week, maybe ones you hear often. And then, again, try to use them yourself.
Maybe keep a little notebook.
Yeah, a personal idiom journal. Write down the phrase, where you heard it. Maybe write your own example sentence. Helps it stick.
So lots of self-study techniques, but interaction is important too, right? Tip 9, join a speaking club or class.
The source calls this one a potential game changer.
Why is that?
Because you get real-time interaction.
Yeah.
Feedback from others, maybe a teacher. Motivation from practicing with people who have the same goal.
And it's probably easier than ever now with online options.
For sure. Loads of online platforms, some free, some low cost, offer conversation groups or classes.
Or you could just make your own group.
Absolutely. Grab some friends who are also learning, meet for coffee, and just agree. English only for this hour.
There was that WhatsApp group example.
Yeah, where they all sent a 1-minute audio message in English each day. Simple, but it built accountability and a sense of community practice. Really clever.
Okay, we've covered a ton of ground. Speaking daily, thinking in English, mistakes, listening, vocab, daily integration, recording, phrases, groups. What holds it all together?
The final tip, number 10, and it's maybe the most important. Be consistent and patient.
Ah, the secret ingredient.
Pretty much. Fluency doesn't happen overnight. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You need realistic expectations.
Getting discouraged is easy if you expect instant results.
Totally. But the real magic is in consistency. Even if it's just 15 minutes a day, doing that every day adds up immensely over time, more than, say, a 3-hour cram session once a week.
Make it a habit, like brushing your teeth.
Exactly like that. And be patient with yourself. Your progress is yours alone. Don't compare your Chapter 1 to someone else's Chapter 20.
The source used that nice analogy, didn't it, about planting a tree?
Yeah. You water it a little every day. You don't see huge growth immediately, but with consistent care, Over time, it grows strong and eventually blooms. It takes patience.
So let's quickly run through those again. The big ideas were
Speak daily. Think in English. Don't fear mistakes. Listen constantly. Learn vocab smartly in context.
use English in daily life, record yourself, learn common phrases and idioms, join a group or class.
And overarching all of it, be consistent and patient.
The main message seems to be that even implementing a few of these consistently can really boost your fluency.
Definitely. Tailor it to you, but stick with it.
Now, the source also touched on common problems, like that feeling, I think they called her Priya, where you understand, okay, but speaking feels impossible. You just freeze.
Oh, that's so common. The advice really echoes what we've said. Start super small, low stakes, talk to the mirror, record those voice notes just for you.
Gradually build up.
Exactly. And give yourself permission to be imperfect. It's about courage, just trying to speak, not about getting every word right initially. That courage builds fluency.
And the other common one from Leo in the source,
Huh?
wanting to speak faster, more like a native.
Shadowing is key for that, according to the resource. Mimicking native speed and rhythm directly trains you.
It gets your mouth used to moving that way.
Right. And also, noticing and practicing how native speakers link words together, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Instead of enunciating, what are you doing?
Or going if we're going to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Picking up on those natural contractions and links helps you sound smoother and faster over time. It's a gradual thing.
Well, this has been a really practical deep dive, lots of concrete actions someone can take.
Absolutely. It's not magic. It really comes down to consistent, focused effort in these areas.
So thinking about all that, especially the emphasis on starting small and being consistent, here's something for you, the listener, to consider.
What's one single tip from all of this? Just one thing that feels doable for you that you could realistically try this week.
Even if it's just for 10 minutes a day, what's that first small step you can take on your fluency journey starting now?